Hey y'all, we are back and we have another grant, or should I say grants, because I am restarting our nonprofit grant playlist. And in this video, we have over $300,000 of grant opportunities for nonprofit organizations. We will not be able to do the walkthrough, mainly because I don't have the requisite information to log into the different databases, i.e., I'm not a tax exempt status. I don't have an IRS determination letter. I don't have my NAICS code, all these things that they ask for in order for you to even see the application. But what we can do is we can go to those websites. We can see some of the requirements in order to even apply for these grant opportunities. And similar to our small business grant opportunities, this is money you do not have to pay back, but it gotta be for a legal purpose. I also want to make clear that when we're talking about a nonprofit and we're talking about a tax exempt status, those are two separate things, because you can be a nonprofit organization. You went to your Secretary of State's website. You're like, yes, I'm a nonprofit. I'm going to get this money. Uh, as somebody that might donate to you, I will not get that deduction unless you take that second step, which is through the IRS, and get that tax determination of a tax exempt entity. That is not something that happens through your Secretary of State's website. That is something that is federally regulated, and you must do that through the IRS. And once you do all of that, then you can be eligible to apply for some of these nonprofit grant opportunities that require you to have your tax exempt status. I will say that there are some grant opportunities that do not require you to have your tax exempt status, and that you can then just be a nonprofit organization. Also, remember, there's so many things to remember with a nonprofit, that you also want to make sure that you're getting that state level tax exemption, because I know some of us are like, let me just do this IRS form and get that tax exemption. No, there's also state level tax exemption as well. So you will have to do that through your state's office. So just think about all those things. Get yourself a lawyer, get yourself an accountant, all that good jazz. Now, let's finish talking about this money. But first, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I am Ebony, a licensed attorney out of the state of Missouri. And on this channel, we focus on grants, legal tips, and setting the foundation for your business to get you to generational wealth. Because yes, money is good, but we want our money to serve generation after generation after generation. Check out the small business grant playlist. There are several opportunities listed there. There is also a nonprofit grant playlist as well that I recommend that you check out, because there's some opportunities that have no deadlines. And in these playlists, there's grants that have no deadline. There's grants that don't require you to have a business or have your tax exempt status. But then also there are opportunities that are global. So if you are not located inside of the US, there are potential grant opportunities for you to get free money for your business. Y'all, I have also launched my second book, and this book is a labor of love. It took a while, but it's here. It is 130 pages of content. It talks about if you get the grant, if you don't get the grant, applying for the grant. And the most incredible thing about this is there are sample answers. Now, these answers are just for you to, get the wheels going, so you can think about, how should I, start my answers for this grant. Do not plagiarize these answers, and then however many of y'all bought the book are submitting the exact same answer, and then your grant get thrown out and you don't even get the money. Okay. And if you would like to further support the channel so I can continue to provide these resources free of charge on YouTube, come on over to the Patreon. I'm going to quickly share my screen so you can see what's in there in case you want to join. Here's the Patreon. Yes, the information is locked. However, once you become a member, the information will be unlocked. I post different grant opportunities in here. I post cohorts. I post articles. I post anything that I think will be helpful for you while you're on your entrepreneurship journey. But we don't want to stay over there too long, because over $300,000 for your nonprofit, absolutely. How we're going to do this, we're going to start with our baby grant. We're going to work our way up to the big dogs of the grants. But either way, all of this money is good money. It's free money. So please make sure you are listening to all of these grant opportunities. And my goal is to post these grants weekly, as I'm doing with small business grant opportunities. So, Welcome to our new journey with nonprofit organizations with tax exempt status. This first grant opportunity is for $7,500. It is $7,500 for nonprofit organizations that also have their tax exempt status. The requirements here, there are 4 different categories that they are focused on. And I will say this definitely goes back to making sure that you are completely aligned with the grantor, but also making sure that the grantor is aligned with you. And when you are applying for nonprofit grant opportunities, that is one of the key things that they look at, is making sure that there is that alignment when they are dispersing funds into community. The first thing that they are focused on is better health. They want to work with nonprofit organizations that are focused on the health of their community. The second thing that they want you to focus on is connected communities, because they specifically stated that there are individuals in community where they don't feel like they're in a community. They feel like they just live there. So they are looking for organizations that foster that collaborativeness, and then also foster for individuals to feel like they are actually living in a community versus I just have these 4 walls that is shelter, which is a necessary need as a human being. And then the third thing that they are focusing on is financial security, which again, this is something that I will say I see across a lot of nonprofit grants. It's typically either financial literacy or underserved communities, and health tends to be one as well. But this again, looking for organizations that's focusing on what does financial security look in community, but then also what does that financial literacy looks like as well. And there's different paths that you can take with this specific category. And when we get to their website, what we're going to do is we're going to briefly look at their PDFs, because the PDF will definitely tell you specifically what they are looking for and how you could potentially align your nonprofit with their mission to walk away with this $7,500 of free money for your organization to continue to give back to your community. And then the fourth thing that they want to make sure that you are focusing on is vibrant planet. And we've actually seen this for the for-profit business end as well, where they're looking for individuals that are doing things that are sustainable with your business, whether it's your product, whether it's somehow connected to your service. Like, how are you focusing on not just community, but the community that individuals have to live in? So if you are a nonprofit organization and you're focusing on sustainability, or you're focusing on a vibrant planet, as they say, this is a grant opportunity that is potentially going to help you take away $7,500 for your organization as well. Now, I will say, with these 4 different categories, you do not have to fit into all 4. You can fit into just one of these categories, apply for this grant opportunity, and then potentially walk away with this money to assist you in communities. So, because we don't have a lot of time, and I have other grants that we're going to talk about as well, let's look at this first grant. This grant opportunity is sponsored by TD Bank. And as we discussed earlier, this opportunity is for up to $7,500 for your nonprofit organization. And we talked about the 4 different categories, and I highly recommend that you click on this PDF for each one of them, and it lets you know specifically what they are looking for. So for example, with Better Health, they specifically state that increase investment in research, technology, and innovative solutions that improve access to care for all. And then they tell you the types of programs that they will support, and then what they have a preference to, right? So preference for those that have a clear evaluation and measurement process to track the impact, demonstrate benefit for underserved populations. And as I said earlier, most of these grantors, specifically for nonprofit organizations, they are looking for organizations that are supporting underserved communities, because they typically do not have the same level of access as a community that's not labeled as underserved. And then the types of grants, regional grants, grants that fund local programs making an impact in the communities where we live and serve. Housing for Everyone competition. This is an annual initiative focused on increasing opportunities for affordable housing. And then Capacity Building Fund. This is funds supporting nonprofit training, talent, tools, and tactics. And then go down here, go over the whole website for all of these grant opportunities, because here it's telling you how to apply, questions that you might have. And I always recommend, if on their website they tell you the types of grants that they have supported in the past, you need to make sure that you read that information, because by reading that information, it gives you a leg up, so you can really say, am I aligned with who they supported in the past? That still doesn't mean don't apply if you're not, but let's say that you're not, but then strategically, can I be aligned with those that they've supported in the past? So always look at the history of funding to give you a better idea on whether or not you can, one, apply, but then more importantly, how can you strengthen your application? So that is our first grant opportunity for $7,500. Our next grant opportunity is for $50,000. $50,000. You don't have to pay it back as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do with the money. This grant opportunity is pretty straightforward. They don't have a laundry list of things that they're looking for. Specifically, they are looking for nonprofit organizations with their tax exempt status that is focusing on removing barriers that prevent youth from succeeding. So if you are a nonprofit organization and your primary focus is on the youth, this is potentially an opportunity for you to walk away with $50,000 of additional funding to assist you in further serving your community. So since that's the only requirement that they have, let's look at this next grant. All right, y'all. This opportunity is sponsored by Mark Wahlberg, and it is the Mark Wahlberg Youth Foundation. Such a tongue twister. And as I specifically stated earlier, the goal of the foundation is to remove and eliminate barriers that prevent youth from succeeding. As with the other grant opportunities, go through their website, look at what they're looking for, look at the organizations that they've served, look at who they're partnering with to make sure that you are aligned with them in order to get to their short application. Now, I will say that this is likely their definition of a letter of interest, right? And then they'll look at what you're proposing, and then from there, they will do a deeper dive into your organization. So in the top right-hand corner, you're gonna click on grants. It's gonna take you here. Then you're gonna click on this grant application. You're going to answer the questions that they have here. And then at the bottom, it says, please mail applications to the Mark Wahlberg Youth Foundation, and it gives you an address of where to send it. But here they're just looking for background information. Name of the executive director, primary contact, are you a 501c3 nonprofit, your EIN number, your mission, project name, requested amount, project program description, no more than 4 sentences, y'all. Again, like our other grant opportunities, you have to be concise. But trust me, I'm not a gambler. I haven't applied for this grant opportunity. I highly doubt that they are going to give you $50,000 by completing just this one form. This is to create that level of interest, and then it's going to be a longer application if they decide to move forward with you. That's what I think. I could be wrong. You might get $50,000 for this one letter, which would be incredible, I suppose, but also scary at the same time that they're giving out this type of money without, proper due diligence. I digress. Board members, your staff, annual organizational budget, your fiscal year, program budget, period that the grant will cover. And then if you've received support from them in the past 5 years, and if you were referred by anyone, you can put my YouTube channel. And then after you send that off, then you're just going to wait and see what they say as far as the letter of interest and if they are going to fund this specific opportunity for $50,000 for your nonprofit organization. All right, y'all ready for this next grant opportunity? This one I'm kind of excited for, mainly because it is $250,000. Okay, y'all, $250,000 of free money for your nonprofit organization to help you continue to serve community. I will say there are multiple categories for this specific grant opportunity, and it's a bit more work, right, than the other grant opportunities. I will say as well, even if the grant is a larger dollar amount, do not ask for more than what you need, because all of these grant opportunities is up to whatever that number is. So even though it's up to $250,000, let's say you need $75,000. So the $50,000 grant opportunity you did not apply for, but you should be applying for all these grants, right? Because there's power in numbers. You apply for 50 and you get 1 or 2. Beautiful thing, right? And it gets you more money to then continue to be able to serve community. This grant opportunity also requires you to submit a letter of interest first, before you're able to see the application, which is why I was thinking with the other one, that's probably their idea of a letter of interest. Now, with this grant opportunity, there are several causes that are dear to their heart. So if you fall into any of these categories, you could potentially walk away with up to $250,000 for your nonprofit organization. But remember, you must have your tax exempt status in order to be eligible for any of these grant opportunities that I've discussed. Also, none of these grants have deadlines. I probably should have said it at the beginning. So whenever you see this video, if you have a tax exempt nonprofit organization, or if you're working on getting your tax exempt status, write these grants down, put it in a book somewhere. And then as soon as you get that IRS determination letter, get to applying for these grant opportunities, okay? The causes that are important to this grantor and also organizations that will have priority when they are applying for these grant funds are organizations that are focused on international understanding, fostering workers' rights, empowering underserved communities, nurturing art and architecture, and advancing scientific research. These are the categories. When you go to their website, you'll be able to see a more detailed description of what they're looking for. But with all of that, y'all, let's look at this grant opportunity. All right, this grant opportunity is sponsored by the Ronald Burkle Foundation. And once you get to their website, you want to click on Request a Grant. But before we do that, as I said earlier, click on Grant Recipients, because this list lets you know who they have donated to in the past. And what I recommend is clicking on any of these, several of these actually, and then get information about that organization to see, okay, is there something in common between all of these organizations as to why they potentially got this grant opportunity? And then you want to go back to your mission statement and everything you got going on with your nonprofit organization and see if there is a higher probability of you getting this grant opportunity based on the grants that they've given out in the past. And then you hit request a grant. Make sure you look at their mission statement and your mission statement to see if there's alignment there. So then when we go to request a grant, as I said earlier, they are going to ask for you to create or submit rather a letter of interest first. You have to mail this in. Unlike our small business grant opportunities, a lot of this stuff is putting stuff in the mail with a stamp. It is not submitting something electronically. These are requesting for you to give them a letter of interest. And then from there, they'll decide if they want to get additional information from you to potentially have you apply for up to $250,000 of money for your nonprofit organization. But here, they're reviewed on an ongoing basis. Like I said, these grants that I'm telling y'all about, there is not a deadline. So get to the money, but get to the money fast, because foundation can stop funding. They cannot have enough funding. They can restrict how many grants they're going to put out there. So get in while it's still open. And then it says it should include the following: the organization's project or service and the amount requested, a brief history of the organization and its current programs, a description of the project and personnel, the need and specific objectives to be addressed, the implementation plan, and the relevance of the program to the community. Again, especially with nonprofits, you better be in community, because if not, how are you asking these people for money? A projected calendar of the proposed project or event, a budget for the requested funds. Please include, along with the requested amount, an outline of its purpose. So that's breaking it down to the penny, what you're going to use every dollar for. And then a copy of the organization's IRS letter of tax exempt status. So that is once you have applied, you get that determination letter is what they're looking for. And once you send that, then you just kind of gotta wait and see if they're going to circle back with you to say, hey, we want you to actually complete the entire application to potentially get this grant funding. I don't know if you all been adding them dollars up, but that was over $300,000 of opportunities so that you are able to continue providing service in community. Now, y'all better be on the lookout, because I'm about to start giving y'all more of these nonprofit grant opportunities in conjunction with the small business grant opportunities that will never go anywhere, okay? Because that's what started this channel. But I want to make sure that I continue to focus on nonprofit grants as well, since I've been having individuals ask about that. But I hope you all got something of value. I'm excited for the next videos to come out. I'm about to keep recording more and more videos for you all, because generational wealth, we need to get to this money. And you can have a for-profit and a nonprofit. And I know some people want to separate the two. And it's a challenge to find those nonprofit grant opportunities and to be able to apply for them as well. So with that, as always, always, like, share, comment, subscribe. But no, seriously, I am just grateful for all of you all as you continue to be on this journey with me. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to spend with me virtually. I want to thank you for supporting the channel. And wherever you are in the world, I hope that you're having a beautiful day. And I will see y'all next time.